Maybe you've heard, maybe you haven't, but during the various protests in Washington surrounding the inauguration of that guy who I cannot bring myself to say is our president, not without my brain vomiting just a little, a neo-Nazi guy got slugged in the chops. And that has sparked a debate on whether or not this is okay to do. This has also brought to mind a number of things that people say which, honestly, need to stop being said, because they're utter bullshit. Why are they bullshit? Because they ignore the fact that we are not merely thinking beings, but also feeling beings with emotions. For example, telling children to just walk away from their bullies. I heard this one a lot. Someone is picking on you? Just walk away. Right. Like they won't follow. Like you won't get taunted for being a coward. It'll just make things worse, and it won't make the bullying stop, which is what the kid really wants, to just be left alone. Telling a kid to just walk away doesn't just mean swallowing both their pride and their anger, but also giving even more kids the opening for further taunting. Walk away is the most blind to reality advice you could ever give, and it just makes me wonder whether those adults saying it even remember what it was like to be a child. Come on, get actual. Another example is that if you start calling someone names, it means you don't have an argument and you're just an asshole. Wrong. Bullshit. What it means is that you're pissed the fuck off. Maybe you have an argument. Maybe you've been using that argument, but your opponent seems immune to logic, reason, and evidence. The debate has been going in circles for quite some time, and you know what? You're frustrated. You're angry. They're an idiot. And you need to blow off some steam. So your language becomes significantly less civil. And then that's taken as license to say your position is crap and you don't need to be listened to anymore. It's bullshit. But people still love to use being insulted as some sort of auto win for their side. It's dishonest as hell. So let's go back to giving the neo-Nazi a knuckle sandwich. The guy is a fucking neo-Nazi. He advocates ethnic cleansing. He calls it peaceful ethnic cleansing, but that doesn't change his end goal. He advocates white supremacy. He's against gay marriage. He sees Martin Luther King as a villain. He thinks immigration will lead to his grandchildren living in a culture that will be, in his own words, alien and hostile. He has stated in no uncertain terms that he thinks white Europeans are superior to all other races. Here's an actual quote. When we hear any professional Latino, in quotes, support this or that social program, we sense in our guts that her policy prescriptions are rationalizations for nationalism. She might say more immigration is good. She means the Anglos are finished. Needless to say, he is a horrible person whose ideas and ideals are hostile to anybody who isn't just like him. He has outright stated that he wants to influence the Trump presidency, gag, toward his own agenda. If you're not a white nationalist yourself, this is more than a little scary. So why did he get punched? Think about it. Do you think logic or reason is going to do anything to a guy like that? Will it stop him? Will it change his mind? Don't be silly. He's that bully you can't walk away from. He's that asshole on the internet with a force field against logic and evidence. But he's worse, because if he had his way, he'd make other people into second-class citizens, if not something far less pleasant. He was punched not because there's no argument, but because he's pissed people off, and because he's a bully. He was punched in self-defense. His mouth was writing checks his body couldn't cash, and he got his overdraft fee. He deserved it. And sure, some people say that using violence against bullies like him means you're against free speech. But I'm all for free speech. What I'm not for is repercussion-free speech. You don't get to say just whatever you like and expect there to be no consequences for it. You start saying things like, see all those people with trait X? Take away their rights. I'm better than they are. You don't now have a force field against people who say, not on my watch, buddy, and take steps to make sure you don't get your way. I know there's division on this. I understand why some people think violence is never justified. But I genuinely believe that sometimes it's the only way to accomplish something, that lashing out is necessary, lest one be trampled, roughshod or otherwise. It shouldn't be off the table completely. Anger and fear are part of human nature and cannot be ignored. That's just plain unrealistic.
Shut up. Rated. Unsubscribed. Off.